Rushing to work on a stormy Chicago morning, I accidentally took my husband's phone off the kitchen counter. As soon as I found a seat on the crowded subway train, his sister called, and the first thing she screamed through the speaker left me profoundly speechless. "Did you wire the $250 from the joint escrow account yet? Because tomorrow is the closing day for the luxury penthouse and Chloe is having a catastrophic meltdown. Please do not tell me your clueless wife is starting to ask annoying questions." My name is Elena. I am 33 years old and I am a senior cybersecurity analyst for the Federal Reserve. I thought I had secured my peaceful life, but I had married directly into a toxic, fraudulent nightmare. Before I continue this story, let me know where you are watching from in the comments below. Hit like and subscribe if you have ever had to stand up to a toxic family who profoundly underestimated your worth. Growing up in a demanding, emotionally cold household taught me to be profoundly observant. My childhood was a complex fortress of expectations I could never quite meet, but it forged my analytical, impenetrable mind. I maintained perfect grades and joined top-tier honor societies just to survive. That exact same survival instinct is what kept my hands from shaking as I sat on that swaying subway train, holding the specific phone that was about to destroy my 4-year marriage. The morning had started like any other mundane Tuesday. Marcus, my handsome husband of 4 years, was practicing his upcoming political speech in the heavy bathroom mirror. He is a prominent city councilman and the celebrated executive director of a civic redevelopment fund in Chicago. He always knew how to project that flawless, pristine image of a devoted public servant. He wore his custom-tailored Italian suits with an incredible air of unshakable righteousness, and the city adored him. They looked at us as the ultimate perfect example of modern success. I was the high-earning federal cyber professional, and he was the charismatic political leader dedicated to uplifting the community. We were the power couple everyone pointed to during civic galas. That specific morning he gently kissed my forehead, poured my expensive coffee into my sleek travel mug, and told me he was proud of how hard I worked for our future. I grabbed what I thought was my secure phone off the granite kitchen island and rushed out the heavy front door to catch the fast express train downtown. We had the exact same model of phone with the exact same matte black protective case. It was an easy, common mistake to make. I did not realize what I had done until I settled into the crowded seat and tried to open my secure federal email. The lock screen background was not my carefully organized secure calendar widget. It was a professional picture of Marcus standing at a political podium. Before I could even process the incredible frustration of having to commute all the way back home to swap the heavy devices, the screen lit up with a fast incoming call. The specific caller ID flashed with a picture of Jasmine. Jasmine is Marcus's arrogant younger sister and she has always been judgmental. She carried herself with a massively inflated, toxic sense of superiority, constantly dropping passive-aggressive hints about how a submissive woman should serve her important husband. She made it her personal mission to scrutinize my every single move, usually offering unsolicited, massively annoying advice about how my demanding federal career was unnatural for a political leader's wife. I figured she was calling Marcus to complain about some minor inconvenience regarding her expensive lifestyle, or to ask for amount of money. Wanting to let her know I had his phone so she would not worry when he did not text back, I swiped to answer and brought the expensive device to my ear. I did not even have the exact chance to say hello. Jasmine did not wait for a greeting. Her shrill voice blasted through the small earpiece, massively frantic and loud. The incredible air in my restricted lungs simply vanished. The loud, aggressive rumbling engine of the train, the loud chatter of the crowded passengers, the heavy rain hitting the window, everything faded into a muted hum. My hot blood ran cold, but I did not cry. I sat still as the sheer magnitude of those specific numbers processed in my analytical brain. $250,000, that was not just some random amount of money tucked away in a standard savings account. That exact figure was the inheritance from my beloved recently deceased grandfather. My incredible grandfather and I had a wonderful relationship, and when he passed away 8 painful months ago, he left that money to me. Marcus had convincingly convinced me to park those funds in a secure, high-yield joint escrow account we opened specifically for future investments. He told me we should let it grow untouched until we were ready to buy a commercial property for his civic redevelopment charity. And then there was the specific name. Chloe. Chloe was not just a random woman, she was Jasmine's best friend. They were college roommates, always taking provocative pictures together, throwing up their specific sorority signs and wearing their colors at every social event. Chloe was always hovering around our family gatherings, acting overly familiar, and flashing these, knowing smiles that I had previously brushed off as just her being socially aggressive. Hearing Jasmine scream her specific name in connection to my dead grandfather's incredible inheritance money and in luxury penthouse closing was like a physical, violent blow to my chest. They were buying a house. My husband was buying a luxury penthouse for his toxic sister's best friend, using the incredible inheritance money my dead grandfather left me. "Hello, are you there, Marcus? You need to handle this right now." Jasmine yelled into the phone, her shrill voice dripping with incredible irritation. She thought she was talking to her brother, plotting the incredible ultimate theft right behind my back. I did not say a single word. I slowly pulled the incredible phone away from my frozen ear and tapped the red button to end the call. A normal person might have broken down right then and there. A normal betrayed wife might have screamed, thrown the phone across the crowded train, or immediately called her husband to demand in frantic explanation through hysterical tears. But I am not a normal person. I am a senior cybersecurity analyst. My career is built on tracking missing digital money, uncovering hidden assets, and dismantling complete financial fraud. I spend my days tearing apart the lives of white-collar cyber criminals who think they are smarter than the digital paper trail they leave behind. The incredible moment I ended that call, the betrayed wife inside me stepped aside and the cold, professional analyst took over. I looked down at the dark screen of Marcus's phone. My trained hands were steady. The emotional trauma was safely locked away in a secure box at the back of my analytical mind, reserved for a later time. Right now, I had a complete job to do. I had to secure the digital evidence. The silent hunt began immediately on specific seat 14A of the city subway train. I knew I had an unlimited window of specific time before Marcus realized his phone was missing and panicked. I needed to get inside his dark digital life and extract every single piece of digital data before he had the chance to wipe it remotely. I was going to find out how in deep this betrayal went, and I was going to use his own arrogance to destroy him. The first complete obstacle was collapsing his complex passcode. Marcus changed his passcode every few months, claiming it was a necessary security protocol because he handled sensitive, civic development emails for the city council. He always told me that privacy was crucial for his public service. I used to respect that boundary, believing it was a sign of his complete dedication to his flock of citizens. Now I knew it was the heavy shield he used to protect his double life. But Marcus, for all his charming manipulation, was fundamentally arrogant and predictable. People who believe they are untouchable always leave a digital backdoor open. I thought about the numbers that mattered most to his inflated ego. I tried his election date, incorrect. I tried the date he was appointed as the incredible civic director. Incorrect. Then I thought about the culture he worshipped, the complete image of brotherhood and legacy he constantly projected. I typed in the founding year of his elite college fraternity, followed by his specific line number. The dark lock screen vanished and the home screen opened up before me. I immediately navigated to his text messages. I did not waste time looking through his casual conversations with city elders or his generic exchanges with our mutual friends. I went straight to the search bar and typed in the specific name, Chloe. Dozens of threads popped up, but one active group chat caught my trained eye immediately. The active chat was titled The Real Family. The members of this toxic group were Marcus, Jasmine, and Patricia. Patricia is my toxic mother-in-law. She is a woman who wears expensive designer hats to political rallies, sits in the front row, and loudly praises the complete universe for her perfect son. She has always treated me with a polite but icy distance wrapped in passive-aggressive compliments. I opened the Real Family group chat and began to scroll. What I read was a complete masterclass in dark psychological manipulation and cruelty. The messages dated back over 2 years. I read layers upon layers of toxic venom directed at me. There were messages from Patricia mocking my grueling federal work hours. She had sent a text just last week stating, if Elena was a proper submissive wife instead of playing with computers all day, Marcus would not need to find comfort in Chloe's arms. A political man needs a warm home, not a federal financial statement. Jasmine had replied with laughing emojis, adding, Chloe knows how to treat a king. Elena just knows how to pay the bills. Let her keep working those overtime shifts so my brother can finally live the life he deserves. The betrayal was so thick it practically suffocated me. My own mother-in-law, the woman who hugged me and called me daughter, was actively orchestrating my husband's affair. She was encouraging him to use me as a financial stepping stone while validating his infidelity as some sort of complete divine right. But the ultimate gut punch came as I scrolled further back into the photo attachments within the chat. I found pictures from the famous Sunday family cookouts hosted at Patricia's house. These cookouts were a heavy staple in their family tradition. Every other Sunday, Patricia would host gatherings in her backyard with expensive ribs, music, and the extended family. I was frequently too busy working federal audits to attend. Marcus would always go alone, bringing plates of expensive food back for me and kissing my cheek, saying everyone missed me but understood that my career was providing for our future civic goals. He made me feel like my absence was a noble sacrifice for the greater good of our family legacy. The pictures in the chat revealed the agonizing truth. These cookouts were not innocent family gatherings. They were elaborate cover-ups. I clicked on a photo from a cookout last month, the exact weekend I had worked 48 hours straight to finalize in federal cyber audit. The picture showed Marcus standing at the expensive grill, holding a pair of heavy tongs with his arm wrapped tightly around Chloe's waist. Chloe was wearing a revealing sundress, laughing, throwing her head back. On the other side of them stood Patricia and Jasmine holding expensive plastic cups, smiling brightly for the camera. The caption under the photo sent by Patricia read, "My beautiful family together on a blessed Sunday. Love my real daughter-in-law, Chloe." They were actively hosting Chloe, allowing Marcus and his mistress to play house right under the family's complete roof. They were introducing her to cousins and aunts and uncles as his partner, while I was sitting in a quiet office, staring at federal spreadsheets to fund the exact life they were enjoying. My husband was living an separate existence with the full blessing and complete logistical support of his mother and sister. Every time I apologized for missing a family event. Every time I transferred money to help Patricia with her mortgage. Every time I bought Jasmine an expensive birthday gift, they were laughing at me. I was funding the operation. I took a deep, steady breath. The subway train hit and bump, jostling the crowded passengers, but I remained anchored to my seat, my eyes locked on the glowing screen. I did not feel sorrow anymore. The sadness had been instantly incinerated by a cold, massively calculating rage. I opened my secure encrypted cloud storage app on the phone, a federal program I used for securely backing up cyber evidence during my federal audits. I began exporting everything. I forwarded the chat history, the photos, the timestamped logs, and the voice memos Jasmine had sent detailing the luxury penthouse closing. I dug into his email app and found the correspondence with the elite real estate agent, confirming that the $250,000 was meant for a cash down payment on a luxury penthouse in Chloe's name. I mirrored his banking apps, documenting the exact offshore routing numbers they planned to use. I worked with the exact precision of a surgeon extracting a toxic tumor. I knew that confrontation without leverage is just noise. If I simply yelled at Marcus, he would gaslight me. He would use his political charm to twist the narrative, calling me paranoid or claiming the money was for a legitimate civic charity investment. Patricia would rally the community against me, labeling me a crazy, jealous woman trying to ruin a devoted public servant. Jasmine would use her elite social circles to drag my name through the mud. I needed an airtight, impenetrable vault of digital evidence. I needed receipts that could stand up in a federal cyber court. By the time the subway train pulled into my downtown federal stop, I had successfully uploaded 6 gigabytes of raw, unadulterated truth to a secure server that only I possessed the encrypted keys to. I slid Marcus's phone back into my heavy bag, stepping off the crowded train into the gray Chicago drizzle. I adjusted my expensive coat, blending into the crowd of busy morning commuters. To anyone looking, I was just another professional heading to the federal office. They had no idea they had just handed a loaded weapon to the exact single woman who knew how to dismantle their complete world. Dollar by dollar, stepping off the crowded city train, the cool Chicago morning air hit my face and instantly grounded me. I adjusted the strap of my expensive leather tote bag against my shoulder and joined the fast-paced stream of busy downtown commuters. My steps were measured and precise, matching the rhythm of the bustling financial district around me. On the outside, I looked like any other dedicated professional heading into another demanding day of federal cyber reviews and security audits. Nobody passing by me on the damp pavement could possibly know that my personal world had just been upended. The devastating revelations I had just uncovered on the subway train were safely locked away in the darkest corners of my analytical mind. Federal cybersecurity requires a unique type of mental compartmentalization. You cannot let the raw shock of financial betrayal cloud your analytical judgment. You must remain detached, observing the numbers and the lies with clinical precision. I was applying that exact same professional discipline to my marriage right now. The towering glass facade of my federal cyber firm gleamed under the gray, overcast Chicago sky. I walked through the revolving doors and offered a polite nod to the armed security guards at the front desk. My secure federal badge scanned with a sharp beep, and I stepped into the elevator, pressing the exact button for the 50th floor. The smooth ascent gave me 45 seconds to erase any lingering trace of the betrayed wife I had been just half an hour ago. When the heavy elevator door slid open, I stepped onto the polished marble floors of our executive suite, projecting nothing but calm and unshakable federal authority. I greeted the receptionists by name, asked about their weekends, and walked directly to my secure corner office. Closing my heavy glass door, I immediately pulled Marcus's phone from my expensive bag. The screen remained dark. The data transfer I had initiated on the subway train had finished flawlessly, sending gigabytes of his most guarded secrets, text messages, hidden photo albums, and offshore routing numbers directly to my secure encrypted federal cloud server. I took a microfiber cloth from my desk drawer and carefully wiped down the matte black case and the glass screen, erasing any physical trace of my fingerprints. I placed the phone gently on the exact corner of my mahogany desk, adjusting it so it looked like an innocent afterthought. I arranged my dual monitors, organized my secure notepads, and sat back in my ergonomic leather chair. I checked my reflection in the floor-to-ceiling window overlooking the city skyline. My tailored navy suit was immaculate, my hair remained pinned back, my incredible expression was an impenetrable mask of serene professionalism. The stage was set and the trap was primed. I knew my husband better than he knew himself. I knew how long it would take for his ego to crack under the pressure of a missing digital lifeline. I did not have to wait long. Less than 20 minutes later, a sudden commotion erupted outside my office. Through the frosted glass walls, I saw the familiar, tall silhouette of my husband. Marcus was moving through the corporate bullpen with his signature political charm. He was flashing his brilliant, practiced smiles at my junior analysts and offering warm, charismatic greetings to everyone he passed. He played the role of the devoted, supportive community leader to complete perfection. But my trained eyes caught the rigid tension locking his broad shoulders. He was moving too fast. His strides were long and forcefully hurried. He practically shoved my heavy glass door open before knocking quickly and stepping inside. Marcus stood in my office holding 2 iced coffees from the expensive artisanal cafe located 3 blocks down the street. It was my exact complicated order: an iced latte with oat milk and a half pump of sugar-free vanilla. It was a calculated peace offering wrapped in clear plastic and dripping with condensation. Despite the crisp morning weather outside, a visible sheen of nervous sweat coated his forehead. He was breathing as if he had sprinted the way from his civic office building. He forced a wide, booming political laugh that bounced off the acoustic panels of my office walls. The sound was too loud and terribly out of place for a quiet federal firm at 9 in the morning. "Babe, you scared me half to death," he announced, stepping forward to place the sweating plastic cups on my pristine desk. I realized I did not have my phone right as I pulled into the civic parking lot. "You accidentally took my phone when you rushed out this morning. I was so worried you would not be able to reach me today." I sat still and simply watched him perform. He was a master manipulator, accustomed to swaying political crowds with his dynamic voice and commanding, emotional presence. But here in my office, under the harsh fluorescent lights, his performance felt cheap and transparent. I noticed the subtle, pathetic tremble in his left hand as he set the coffee down. I saw his dark eyes immediately dart to his phone resting innocently on the edge of my desk. He stared at the dark screen with a desperate, hungry intensity, needing to know if the digital lock had been breached. His complete future, his pristine public reputation, and his luxury lifestyle with Chloe depended on whether or not I had swiped my finger across that glass surface. I let the heavy silence stretch for 4 seconds. In a fraud interrogation, silence is the ultimate weapon. It forces the guilty party to panic and fill the uncomfortable void with more unnecessary lies. Marcus shifted his weight awkwardly, adjusting the lapels of his expensive custom-tailored suit. He chuckled again, a dry, nervous sound scraping the back of his throat. It is crazy how much our phones look alike, right? He babbled, pointing a shaky finger at the devices. Same matte black case and everything. I practically tore the house apart looking for it before I checked the tracking application on my tablet. I saw it moving downtown and figured out what happened. You really had me panicked, baby. He was fishing blindly in the dark. He needed me to speak. He needed to gauge my emotional state to determine his next move. If I was angry and shouting, he would know I saw the messages from Jasmine. If I was crying and hysterical, he would know I found the hidden photos of him and Chloe at his mother's house. I gave him neither. I leaned forward in my chair, resting my elbows on the desk, and let a soft, affectionate smile spread across my face. I effortlessly channeled the devoted, supportive, naive wife he firmly believed me to be. The clueless woman who worked 80-hour federal weeks to fund his lavish existence without ever asking a single question. I found it in my bag right when I got off the subway, I said, my voice smooth and melodic, conveying nothing but genuine, mild amusement. I reached out, picked up the device, and handed it back to him. My complete hand was steady without a single tremor. I am so sorry, honey. I was rushing to beat the aggressive traffic and just grabbed the first black phone I saw sitting on the kitchen island. I did not even realize my mistake until I tried to check my morning federal emails and the screen would not open for me. I did not even know the passcode, so I just left it off and put it away in my bag. I figured you would track it down eventually and come rescue it. The incredible transformation in Marcus was instantaneous and almost comical to witness. The rigid, terrified panic gripping his incredible chest evaporated into thin air. He let out an exaggerated exhale, the loud sound of a man who firmly believed he had just dodged a lethal bullet. The nervous sweat on his forehead seemed to dry up instantly. His complete posture relaxed immediately, returning to the arrogant swagger of the untouchable civic leader he pretended to be. His incredible ego was so consuming that he never even considered the possibility that I could easily outsmart him. He truly believed I was nothing more than a naive calculator, a human automated teller machine, blinded by his political charisma and fake devotion. Thank God, he breathed out, sliding the phone into his breast pocket. He practically patted the pocket to ensure his precious secrets were safe. He walked around my desk and leaned down, pressing a lingering kiss to my forehead. His lips felt like sandpaper against my skin, and a complete wave of revulsion washed through my body. But I did not flinch. I let him play the loving husband. I let him maintain the pathetic illusion of control. You work too hard, my beautiful wife, he murmured, stroking my shoulder with fake affection. I just wanted to make sure my queen had her favorite coffee to get through the morning. I will see you at home tonight. We can order some sushi and just relax together. That sounds perfect, I replied, maintaining direct eye contact with a sweet smile. Have a wonderful day at the civic office, Marcus. Tell your mother and Jasmine I said hello. He smiled brightly, missing the lethal undertone hidden within my words. I will, babe, love you. He turned around and walked out of my office, his complete stride newly confident and relaxed. He stopped at the reception desk to charm the administrative assistants for another minute, flashing his brilliant white smile before finally stepping into the elevator. I watched the heavy metal doors slide close behind him. The moment he was out of sight, I dropped the affectionate smile. My face returned to a cold, calculating mask. I stood up, picked up the iced coffee he had brought me, walked over to the corner trash can, and dropped it straight in without a second thought. I returned to my desk and woke up my dual monitors. I logged into my secure federal cloud server, navigating through multiple complex layers of encryption. The complete folder labeled Marcus Evidence sat there waiting for me. He walked out of my office thinking he was the smartest man in the city of Chicago. He was unaware that in the 30 minutes prior, I had successfully mirrored his hard drive text history and hidden photo albums directly to my secure federal server. He had no complete idea that his reign as the incredible civic king was already over. He had no clue that the financial empire he built on my back was about to crash down on his head and bury him. I cracked my knuckles, opened a blank federal spreadsheet, and began to meticulously trace the dirty digital money, preparing to dismantle his life piece by piece. The encrypted folder on my secondary monitor held the entirety of my husband's complete secret life. I opened the main directory and was greeted by a labyrinth of subfolders labeled with vague titles like Project Civic Development and Urban Infrastructure Funds. For a man who preached about living in the light, Marcus preferred operating in the darkest digital shadows. My fingers flew across the mechanical keyboard, executing standard federal forensic sorting algorithms to categorize his files by date and financial significance. I bypassed his personal emails and navigated into the accounting spreadsheets he thought he had hidden behind a dual authentication firewall. The initial shock of the affair was gone. I was now operating on the cold, hard adrenaline of a professional cyber analyst finding the thread of a complete civic fraud. Every single click of my mouse peeled back another layer of the pristine image Marcus had constructed over the last 4 years. I pulled up the primary ledger for the Civic Redevelopment Charity. This organization was the crown jewel of Marcus's public persona. It was respected throughout our local community and celebrated within our city council network. The charity was ostensibly designed to provide financial literacy workshops and affordable housing grants for underprivileged youth in Chicago. Marcus was the visionary director delivering powerful speeches about excellence and building generational wealth. He was profiled in local magazines as a modern pillar of the community. What the magazines did not know was that the charity only existed because I personally backed the foundational loan. When Marcus first pitched the idea, they lacked the capital to launch. I used my impeccable credit score and substantial complete savings as collateral to secure the $500 ZeoZone commercial loan that got the Civic Uplift charity off the ground. I had believed in his vision, I had believed in him. Now I stared at the main operating account and watched my belief shatter into 1,000 jagged, complete pieces. The financial footprints left in the mirrored files were astonishingly reckless. Marcus was not some brilliant criminal mastermind. He was just a greedy, arrogant man who assumed nobody would dare to look closely at the books of a beloved civic leader's charity. I cross-referenced the charity's outgoing wire transfers against the city grant monthly deposits. The discrepancy was glaring. I found a complex web of shell companies disguised as incredible outreach vendors. There was a youth counseling service receiving $15 a month but had no physical address or registered complete employees. There was an event planning company billing incredible exorbitant fees for services never rendered. I ran a quick trace on the incredible tax identification numbers associated with these phantom vendors. They all routed back to a single holding account registered under Marcus's name. My complete husband was not just a cheating spouse. He was actively embezzling amounts of incredible money from the city and charity funds that working-class families sacrificed to donate in taxes. He was stealing from the community he swore to uplift. The sheer magnitude of the theft made my incredible stomach churn. But the true horror was yet to come. I opened a payroll document labeled Administrative Overhead. I expected to see the names of legitimate part-time staff members the charity employed to manage the phones. Instead, I found 2 names that made my incredible blood boil. Patricia and Jasmine, my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law, were officially listed as senior community outreach consultants. According to the ledger, Patricia was receiving a direct deposit of $8,000 on the first day of every month. Jasmine was receiving $7,500 on the incredible 15th. Neither of them had ever worked a single day for the charity. They had never organized a drive or attended a board meeting. They were on a classic ghost payroll. My complete husband was siphoning $1,500 of stolen charity funds every single month to fund his mother's expensive designer hat collection and his sister's luxury lifestyle. I sat back in my leather chair staring at the complete names on the screen. The family was complicit in this complete fraud. Every passive-aggressive complete comment Patricia made about my long working hours, every time Jasmine bragged about her expensive new handbags, it was all funded by dirty money. They lived like queens on embezzled civic funds while mocking the woman who backed the commercial loan, making their theft possible. They felt entitled to the money because Marcus convinced them taking from the charity was just a perk of their elevated complete social status within the local hierarchy. The sickening reality washed over me. The Sunday cookouts, the lavish incredible outfits and brand new leased cars were purchased with stolen community donations. The complete facade of modern success they paraded around Chicago was built on a rotting foundation of federal wire fraud and tax evasion. But there was still one missing piece to this horrific puzzle. The $250 from my deceased grandfather's life savings. Jasmine's frantic phone call on the subway train had specifically mentioned wiring those funds from our joint escrow account for a luxury penthouse closing tomorrow. I opened a new search window in my forensic software and typed in the exact dollar amount. The incredible federal system scanned the mirrored hard drive and immediately produced a hit inside a locked folder labeled Real Estate Investments 2024. I opened the folder and found a string of emails between Marcus and a high-end real estate broker in the downtown area. The emails discussed the expedited closing of a luxury three-bedroom penthouse. Marcus had presented the purchase to the broker as a strategic asset acquisition for the Civic Uplift charity, claiming the property would be used as a transitional housing model for families in complete need. The broker had readily accepted this noble explanation, eager to close the lucrative commission. I downloaded the attached purchase agreement and the draft deed for the property. I scrolled past the legal jargon and the property description, scanning directly for the signatures and the listed beneficiaries. The property was indeed being purchased through the charity's holding company, but a special complete addendum had been attached to the final contract. The addendum explicitly transferred the deed and full ownership rights of the luxury penthouse immediately upon closing. I looked at the printed name of the incredible sole beneficiary and felt an icy calm wash over my body. Chloe Complete Davis. Marcus was using the guise of a charity real estate investment to secretly purchase a luxury love nest for his mistress. The financial mechanics of the scheme were sickeningly clear. The charity's operating account did not have the liquid cash required to close the downtown property without triggering an automatic audit from the city board. So Marcus devised a complete bridge loan strategy. He planned to wire the $250 of my incredible dead grandfather's savings from our personal joint escrow account directly into the charity holding fund. He would use my money to close the deal and secure the deed for Chloe. Over the next 12 months, he planned to slowly reimburse our joint account using the embezzled ghost payroll incredible funds, hoping I would be too busy to notice the temporary dip in our savings. He was literally stealing my dead grandfather's legacy to buy a house for the woman he was sleeping with, and he was doing it under the protective public banner of his complete civic charity. The audacity was so monumental it was almost breathtaking. Marcus thought he had engineered the perfect complete crime. He had his mistress set up in a luxury penthouse, his complete mother and incredible sister on a lucrative ghost payroll, and his beautiful oblivious wife funding the operation with her pristine credit and inherited wealth. He truly believed he was untouchable, protected by his civic title and his charming smile. He thought I was just a blind, submissive asset, content to sit in the background while he ruled his fraudulent, complete kingdom. I carefully exported every single fraudulent complete payroll ledger, every fake vendor invoice, and the complete downtown penthouse complete purchase complete agreement. I meticulously organized the files chronologically, cross-referencing them with the corresponding offshore routing numbers and federal tax codes. I was no longer just a betrayed wife gathering evidence for a messy divorce. I was a senior federal cyber forensic analyst compiling a federal complete whistleblower dossier. My husband and his complete family had decided to play a dangerous, incredible game of federal financial roulette with my complete life and my complete grandfather's memory. I closed the spreadsheets on my dual monitors and locked the encrypted federal server. The raw complete data was secure, the paper trail was undeniable. They had built a spectacular house of cards using stolen complete money and fake civic righteousness. All I had to do right now was figure out the devastating way to knock it all complete down. I picked up my office phone and dialed a private federal complete number I had memorized years ago. The line rang twice before a sharp voice answered. Elias is a ruthless federal cybercrimes complete prosecutor. He is the kind of complete government lawyer wealthy politicians fear when they need someone to complete quietly and efficiently dismantle their opponents. 5 years ago I uncovered a federal cyber fraud scheme that saved Elias's department from a devastating liability lawsuit. He had told me back then that he owed me a permanent favor. I told him today I was cashing it in. We met during my lunch hour at a discreet dim steakhouse on the edge of the federal financial district. I walked into the private dining room holding a secure encrypted tablet. Elias was already sitting at the table nursing a glass of sparkling water. He took one look at my face and knew this was not a social call. I did not waste time with pleasantries. I slid the tablet across the polished mahogany table and gave him the incredible secure password. I watched his eyes narrow as he scrolled through the raw data. He read the chat logs from the Real Family Complete group. He reviewed the ghost payroll ledgers funneling $15,500 a month to Patricia and Jasmine. He examined the fraudulent civic charity real estate complete contract meant to purchase a downtown luxury penthouse for Chloe. Elias has seen the worst of human greed, but even he let out a low whistle of complete disbelief. He looked complete up at me and asked what I wanted to do. I told him I wanted to build a titanium-clad federal legal and financial barrier around my complete assets, and I wanted to leave Marcus trapped inside his complete own burning house. Elias smiled a cold, predatory smile and slowly opened his federal legal notepad. We spent the complete next 2 hours constructing the complete ultimate inescapable trap. The first complete priority was my dead grandfather's $250. Marcus needed that $250 to close on the downtown luxury penthouse tomorrow. He had engineered the transfer by setting up the specific offshore routing numbers so the cash would quietly slip from our joint high-yield escrow account directly into the Civic Charity Holding Fund. He assumed I would never check the account balance until the end of the month. He assumed wrong. Elias drafted an emergency federal financial complete injunction citing suspected federal fraud activity. I called my private federal banker immediately. I instructed him to freeze the joint escrow account and put a hard complete stop on any outbound complete wire transfers. The banker informed me that a wire complete request for $250,000 had just been queued up in the banking system 30 minutes ago. Marcus had actually initiated the transfer from his phone while sitting in his civic office, probably feeling pleased with himself. I felt a surge of dark satisfaction as I gave the verbal authorization to kill the transaction. The funds were instantly locked complete down. Marcus's precious down payment was rendered complete inaccessible. The beauty of the freeze was that Marcus would not receive an automatic notification. The banking system would simply show the complete transaction as pending review, until the closing agent tried to pull the funds tomorrow morning. By the time Marcus realized the money was not moving, Chloe would be sitting at the closing table throwing the exact meltdown Jasmine had panicked about on the subway. I was effectively cutting the financial oxygen line to his secret life. I sat in that dim steakhouse and felt the heavy weight of my dead grandfather's legacy rest securely back in my hands. Marcus thought he could use my grief to fund his infidelity, but he had critically underestimated my ability to protect what belonged to me. With my personal assets locked behind an impenetrable firewall, Elias and I moved to the complete next phase of the operation. Securing my money was merely self-defense. I wanted complete and annihilation. I returned to my federal office that afternoon and spent the next 4 hours meticulously compiling an anonymous federal whistleblower packet. As a senior federal cyber analyst, I know what federal regulators look for when building a criminal case. I did not just send them a simple tip, I handed them a fully investigated, wrapped and bow-tied federal prosecution. I created a comprehensive timeline detailing every single complete dollar Marcus had embezzled from the Civic Uplift charity. I highlighted the exact dates and amounts transferred to the Ghost Complete payroll accounts controlled by Patricia and Jasmine. I attached the offshore banking routing numbers, the fake vendor invoices, and the corresponding Citigrant complete deposit slips. I proved beyond a shadow of a complete doubt that the money meant for underprivileged youth was directly funding his mother's expensive luxury lifestyle and his complete sister's designer wardrobe. But I did not stop there. I detailed the severe tax fraud involved in running a fake nonprofit shell game. I mapped out the downtown luxury penthouse scheme, exposing how Marcus planned to use Civic Charity Complete funds to purchase private real complete estate for his mistress. I organized the complete packet so beautifully that a complete first-year law student could easily secure a federal conviction. I encrypted the dossier and routed it through a secure virtual private network. I forwarded the complete package directly to the Criminal Investigation Division of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I sent a complete duplicate file directly to the State Attorney General's office, specifically targeting their complete Civic Complete Fraud Division. I knew that once those federal and state agents saw the undeniable proof of federal wire fraud, tax evasion, and incredible embezzlement, they would move with devastating speed. Marcus was no longer just dealing with a betrayed wife. He was about to face the complete crushing weight of the United States federal government. I hit send on the encrypted emails and watched the progress bar hit 100%. The digital bombs were officially launched. Now it was simply a matter of timing. I looked at the calendar on my desk. Today was Tuesday. This upcoming Sunday was the city's anticipated annual civic fundraising gala and mayoral announcement complete dinner. It was the biggest social event of the year for our complete civic community. Hundreds of people would be in complete attendance, including prominent city officials, wealthy civic donors, and respected community leaders. It was the exact complete platform Marcus used to showcase his flawless image of modern complete incredible success and civic complete leadership. I knew what he was planning to do this weekend. He had been bragging about it for weeks. He planned to stand up in front of the Civic Gala and announce his incredible official run for mayor of Chicago. He planned to proudly present the Bellevue Townhouse complete real estate development as a tremendous complete victory for the civic charity, unaware that I had already killed the funding and handed his fraudulent blueprints over to federal investigators. I knew Patricia and Jasmine would be sitting in the front row, wearing their finest expensive designer outfits bought with stolen complete civic money, basking in the glow of their fake prestige. I knew Chloe would be somewhere in the crowd waiting to celebrate her new luxury penthouse. They were all going to be gathered in one place feeling invincible. They expected me to sit quietly by Marcus's side playing the beautiful supportive wife, while they actively mocked me behind my back. They wanted a show. I decided I was going to give them the performance of a lifetime. Over the next 4 days I played my role flawlessly. I went home every evening and cooked dinner. I asked Marcus how his day went and listened intently as he lied to my face with remarkable ease. I smiled when Patricia called to remind me about the Sunday dress code for the gala. I agreed when Jasmine sent me a passive-aggressive text demanding I bring a specific donation to the fundraiser. I swallowed my disgust every time Marcus kissed me, holding on to the cold, comforting knowledge that his world was resting on a tripwire that I controlled. I carefully prepared my complete encrypted tablet, ensuring all the digital evidence was loaded and ready to be displayed. I coordinated a final complete strategy with Elias, ensuring he would be ready to step in when the chaos inevitably erupted. I packed my designer Sunday complete outfit carefully, choosing a tailored look that projected nothing but complete confidence and unwavering, complete authority. I spent Saturday night lying next to my complete husband, listening to his steady breathing, knowing it would be his complete last peaceful night of sleep for the next decade. He thought he was walking into his ultimate triumph. I knew he was walking straight into a meticulously designed federal slaughterhouse. The trap was set, the exits were bolted shut, and the complete spotlight was waiting. Sunday evening arrived and I woke up feeling more alive than I had in complete years. I was ready for the mayoral complete gala to begin. We pulled into the sprawling complete civic parking lot of the downtown convention center. The annual civic fundraiser always drew a complete crowd. Cars were lined up down the street, and the air was already thick with the complete anticipation of a major political announcement. I stepped out of the passenger side of Marcus's luxury leased sedan, wearing a tailored emerald green dress that projected nothing but power and complete control. Marcus walked around the car and offered me his arm, playing the complete role of the devoted husband for the complete flock of reporters and civic donors heading toward the heavy glass convention doors. He waved at the city elders, flashing his bright signature political smile. He looked relaxed. The panic from Tuesday morning had vanished. He believed his secret was safe, and his financial future with his complete mistress was secured. The complete convention sanctuary was already packed by the time we walked down the center aisle. The chandeliers cast colorful complete beams of light across the sea of faces waiting for the gala to begin. Waitstaff in crisp dark suits directed people to their VIP seats. Children squirmed in their Sunday best. I kept my posture rigidly straight, my chin held high. I felt the admiring glances of the civic crowd. They saw the perfect power couple. They saw the loving civic leader and his successful federal wife. They had no complete idea that they were looking at a walking dead man and his executioner. I took my rightful place in the front row directly center stage. Sitting to my immediate right were my complete mother-in-law Patricia and my sister-in-law Jasmine. They were practically holding court in the front row. Patricia wore a complete lavender hat adorned with intricate feathers and pearls matched to her tailored suit. Jasmine sat beside her in a tight designer dress, her wrists heavy with gold bracelets I now knew were purchased with stolen civic charity funds. They both offered me the fakest, most brittle smiles imaginable as I took my complete seat. Patricia leaned over for a brief hollow hug, her perfume practically suffocating me. Jasmine simply nodded her eyes, scanning my outfit with her usual thinly veiled disdain. I sat down and placed my designer handbag on the seat beside me. My tablet loaded with the explosive digital evidence rested securely inside the leather bag. The music swelled to a final triumphant chord, and Marcus confidently stepped up to the wooden podium.